Rika continues to clutch onto the inoperable body of Yuta as she sobs. Yuta Gojo grabbed hold of Sukuna's extended arm as he dropped his stance. Sukuna barely reacted while the momentum shifted. He was thrown over Yuta's shoulder and sent towards the ground. Sukuna was unfazed by the move and simply observed Yuta's impending kick. Once it connected, the King of Curses was hit like a cursed soccer ball. Yuta came to the realization that Rika wasn't haunting his body. Because of this, he was effectively limited to only using Limitless. Using Kenjaku's technique at the same time was not possible. The danger of Sukuna using his slash was removed along with his left arm. He could only rely on amplification to deal with infinity. Yuta hit Sukuna upside the head while being confident that he had the upper hand. Sukuna was perplexed by the strike. Yuta miscalculated the distance between them. When Sukuna responded with a punch, Yuta didn't dodge as quickly as he would have liked to. He was having a hard time on the melee front. This was on account of the same problem he considered during switch training. He held on to Sukuna's outstretched leg. Gojo's limbs were longer than his own. Accounting for the difference was troublesome. Yuta created some distance between them. To most, the Limitless looks like a perfect and overpowered technique, but it was way more sensitive than he realized. A little bit of switch training would not be enough to provide him with mastery. Yuta moved his arm and Sukuna noticed that something was off. The sorcerer misfired. Yuta was surprised too. He finally understood why the Six Eyes were so vital. He remembered his teacher's claims of being the strongest. He wondered how much the man must have gone through to be able to say something like that so confidently. Sukuna was excited by the revelation. It seemed like Yuta had no idea how to control such a problematic technique. It was time for a wake-up call. He punched his guarding opponent with a fistful of cursed energy. The king knew from Kenjaku that Yuta's cursed technique is copy. He could surmise that copying a technique requires some manner of interaction with Rika. This made Sukuna wonder if the queen came along with him for the body swap, or if Yuta could use other abilities that he's copied in this form. Whatever the case, he was familiar enough with Yuta's toolkit for it not to be an issue. In fact, it seemed as though Limitless was more of a side effect than a benefit. Within Yuta's domain, Sukuna already figured out that the kid can only use one copy technique at a time. With all this in mind, it seemed like Limitless was the only thing his opponent had left. Sukuna's eyes remained fixed on his mark. He wondered how long Yuta could keep his copy technique going, or if Yuta would be able to continue in such a form once Kenjaku's technique concludes. He had to consider the possibility that his opponent came into this fight with nothing to lose and had no intention of making it out alive, which made him consider Gojo's previous final gambit. In the past, Gojo scolded Yuta for his unstable cursed energy. He questioned if Kusakabe hadn't mentioned anything about it. Yuta's friends pointed out how hard Gojo was on him, but they also complained about how he only made that sort of effort with Yuta. And we see this because in the present, Yuta decided to be thorough by going through Gojo's memories one at a time. Who knows what he might be able to glean with this approach? By doing this, Gege can continue to explore the story of his favorite character through flashbacks and revelations. Yuta started chanting as he prepared his next move. Sukuna interrupted this by breaking the hand seal with the stump of his arm. Then he hit Yuta in the face. The young sorcerer was hurled into a pile of bones. Gojo jumped through a lot of hoops to use Hollow Purple against Sukuna, so the King of Curses would not give Yuta a chance to release it. While getting up, Yuta surmised that Sukuna must be worried about him using anything beyond the Limitless, and he figured it was clear that he couldn't use two copy techniques at once. For him, this confirmed something about his simple plan, which had him using Limitless in the Unlimited Void. It was going to work. He called on Blue with an extended hand. Sukuna's eyes went wide as a small device showed up next to his head and the many skulls. The king turned to see a recording device. A familiar voice emerged from it and told the monster not to move. Blood was spilt and began flowing down a drain. It was Inumaki. He was bleeding profusely from his mouth, and it's nice to see this guy actually doing something. Yuta continued to chant. Sukuna realized that this attack was not a copy at all. It was the genuine technique. Sukuna remained motionless and was still looking to the side. Once the recorder hit the ground, Yuta began the release of Gojo's Hollow Purple technique. So it seems like the trend of ending chapters with big moves that are quickly resolved in the next one will be continuing. JJK was on hiatus for 3 weeks, and this chapter was just the other half of the previous one. It's even referred to as chapter 262.5. So hopefully Gege is healthy and good to go. As always, I'm SliceOfOtaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.